Okay, hi everybody. Sorry I can't be here today. I'm really missing you because some of you I didn't even get to see on Friday. So we'll see about making up that quiz maybe tomorrow or something. Okay, so today your lesson is going to be about polynomials. Chapter 6 is basically all about polynomials. And what polynomials means, you probably have heard the word poly before in a science class. Poly means many. And then nomial is just terms. So we're talking about things that have many terms. So we already did like quadratic equations. Those had sometimes one term, two terms, or three terms. Polynomials just a whole bunch of terms and you add them all together. So then of course, because it's math, we have to say that all these things have names and we name terms and everything. So if I say like x to the fifth plus 3x squared, this one has two terms. And so two terms means that it is a binomial, because bi means two. Nomial terms, so two terms. All right, and then it also has what's called a degree. So the degree is the biggest number in the polynomial, or the biggest exponent. So we would say that this one is going to be degree 5. And I think the book even calls it quintic, which is a stupid word that I wouldn't expect you to remember, but we would say like 5th degree. So if I had something like x squared plus 3x minus 2. So now this one has 1, 2, 3 terms. So 3 terms, we call that a trinomial. Trinomial, you'll like it. And this is power 2, but the second power does have a special name that we should be prepared to remember. This is degree 2, and we call that quadratic, which you guys should be familiar with. Okay, so 2 terms is binomial, 3 terms is trinomial. 1 term, let's say I have 1 term, 4x cubed. So 1 term, we call that a monomial, because mono means 1. And then the degree is 3, and then that degree means that it is cubic. Okay? So words that are important to remember for you guys are monomial, binomial, trinomial, quadratic, meaning second power, cubic, meaning third power, and then something like this, so 4x minus 5. So this we would call a binomial because it has 2 terms, and then the power is 1, so we would say that it's linear. So another word that you need to be familiar with. So if polynomials have like more than 3 terms, we just say 4 terms, 5 terms, 6 terms. They don't have any special names anymore. And in my opinion, anything above the third power, so cubic you should be familiar with, but anything above that you can just say degree 4. I don't expect you to remember these weird words for numbers. So that should be pretty straightforward. And then all we have to do is just practice some combining of polynomials. So the first kind of problems that you're going to get are pretty straightforward. They're just asking you to combine like terms. So it might say simplify. And then it's going to give you like 3x squared plus 4x minus 8 plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. So it looks complicated, like, oh my gosh, look at all those numbers. But basically all you have to do is just combine like terms. So you look for the x squareds. There's 2 here and 3 here, so I'll add those together. 5x squared. Combine these two, so 4 minus 3 is plus x, and negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. And then we could just describe this at the end and say that this is a quadratic trinomial, because it has 3 terms. Okay? And then you could have another one of those maybe that has a minus sign in the middle, and then all you just have to do is remember to distribute the minus sign. So maybe I have 2x cubed minus 8x squared minus 3x cubed minus 7x squared. Whoops, cubed. So now the only thing that you have to remember to do on this is kind of a no-brainer is, okay, I'm going to just make this a positive sign and distribute that negative sign through. So that just means I'm going to change the sign of everything inside these parentheses. Combine like terms just like I did in the last problem. So negative x cubed minus x squared. So we would say that we have here a cubic binomial. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Now the only time when things might get a little bit more complicated is if they're asking you to multiply polynomials together. So we already know how to do like x plus 6 times 2x minus 8. You all look at that and say, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I FOIL them. So 2x squared minus 8x plus 12x minus 48. And then you combine like terms, 2x squared plus 4x minus 48. And then you end up with a quadratic trinomial. So you'll have some problems like that in your homework, but then they kind of step it up a little bit more. So maybe something like this. X squared minus x times x squared plus 5. Now still we have two binomials here that you're multiplying together, so anytime you have two terms in each of these guys, you can still use the FOIL method. So, but you just have to remember when you multiply x squared times x squared, you add the exponents. So that's x to the 4th plus 5x squared minus x cubed minus 5x. And so in this case, these middle terms aren't going to simplify. And what we also have to do is make sure that we write this in what's called descending order, which means the powers start at the biggest and move down to the smallest. So 5x squared minus 5x. So this would be 4 terms and degree 4. All right, now the only thing that's basically going to be a little bit new for you today is if we see things more like, let's see, something like this. So maybe I want to multiply x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Oh my gosh, this was like four guys here that I need to multiply together. So this is really no big deal either. We're just going to take these in groups. So I'm going to take these two and multiply these two together, and then I'm going to take these two and multiply those two together. So these two things are the difference of squares. So when I multiply those together, I'm going to get x squared minus 4. And then when I multiply these two things together, I'm going to get the same thing. So x squared minus 4. And now I just have to multiply these two together again like I did with that last problem. So there's still two terms, so I'll FOIL. So x to the 4th minus 4x squared minus 4x squared plus 16. Combine like terms, x to the 4th minus 8x squared plus 16. All right, so trinomial, because it has 3 terms, and the degree of this one would be equal to 4. All right, let's try one more example of one that maybe you haven't seen before. Let's do 2x minus 3 cubed. That was very scary. Okay, so whenever I'm cubing something like this, that means I'm going to take it and multiply it by itself 3 times. And just like with that method over there, I'm going to take 2 and multiply these two together right here. So using the FOIL method, so 4x squared minus 6x, another minus 6x plus 9. So I'm going to simplify that, 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. And that whole thing still I need to multiply by this, 2x minus 3. Now this is where things start to get a little bit hard to organize on your paper. So what I suggest that you do is this one has 3 terms, and this one has 2 terms. So just make a box that is 3 going across the top and 2 going down on the side, and on the top I'm going to put 4x squared minus 12x plus 9, and on the left side I'm going to put 2x minus 3. And actually I use this method a lot anytime I have more than like binomials that I'm multiplying together. I always just make these boxes because it makes it a lot easier to organize your numbers. So now this is just like a multiplication box where you multiply these 2 things together. So 8x cubed minus 12x squared minus 24x squared plus 36x plus 18x minus 27. And then what happens is usually on the diagonals you end up with like terms. So I just combine the like terms. So 8x cubed minus 36x squared plus 54x minus 27. So I'm going to end up with a cubic, 4-term cubic. Okay? So that's it. You guys can get started on your bookwork now. It should be written in the classroom somewhere, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.